This is ABC15 Mornings.
Right now at 6, how Arizona is honoring the 8 lives lost during a shooting rampage near Atlanta, Georgia earlier this week. And triple-digit temperatures are inevitable here in the Valley of the Sun, how the state plans to adjust the vaccine rollout to beat the heat. And this weekend, the community coming together to build beds for foster kids in Arizona so they don't have to sleep on the floor, how you can help in this great and worthy cause. And with that, we want to say good morning once again to everybody. It is now 6 o'clock on your Saturday morning. Welcome to the weekend. I'm Mark Thompson, joined by meteorologist Iris Hermosillo with the first look at that most accurate forecast. Happy weekend, Iris. Good morning to you.
Hey. Happy Saturday to you. Good to see you. Temperatures this morning, Mark, not doing so bad. In case maybe you want to get out, maybe after our 6 o'clock newscast here, go take a walk around the building, right? Temperatures just a little bit cool, 57 degrees as we start the day on this Saturday morning. We're already starting to see a little bit of glimmer of that daylight as expected. Our sun doesn't come up officially until 6:31, but again, starting to see a little bit of that light out there. And temperatures, once that sun comes up, they'll be climbing pretty quickly. Like yesterday, we're heading back into the mid 80s. We'll likely see those first 70s by around 10 a.m. and then 80s by 1 o'clock with a high today of 85 degrees in Phoenix. It'll be sunny, it'll be dry, but it's also going to get breezy to windy really across the state. And today's temperatures, while they're still well above the average high for this time of year, we've actually got a drop in temperatures by tomorrow and we'll be closer to normal as we track a storm system into our state. We're going to talk about how strong the winds will be out ahead of this storm and who could see some showers with it in that full forecast still ahead, Mark.
Iris, thank you so much. Developing this morning, a double shooting last night in Mesa. This is video of that scene from our Cliff Castle chopper near Alma School and Southern. Police tell us that they found 2 people who had been shot in this area, one of them suffering some serious injuries. No arrests have been made thus far. And new developments in those deadly attacks at 3 different spas near Atlanta, Georgia. President Biden now condemning what he's calling skyrocketing hate crimes against the Asian community.
There are simply some core values and beliefs that should bring us together as Americans. One of them is standing together against hate, against racism, the ugly poison that has long haunted and plagued our nation.
That city's police chief says that it is still too early to say whether race was the motive behind those shootings, but President Biden is urging Congress to pass the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, saying that that bill will help the government respond to the hate crimes that have increased during the coronavirus pandemic. Here in Arizona, Governor Doug Ducey ordering flags at half-staff through Monday to honor the victims of the Atlanta tragedy. Dozens standing side by side, masked up to remember the lives of those 8 people that were killed. The Asian American community calling for change after violence many believe stemmed from racism and hate.
This is reality, and it's shocking that it's everywhere. It's not just Atlanta, it's not just California or New York. It's happening and it's been happening, but now people are finally ready to talk about it.
And through their grief, they hope for understanding, acceptance, and hope, and that it won't take another tragedy to achieve those goals. Former Maricopa County Assessor Paul Peterson sentenced in an Arizona courtroom to another 5 years behind bars for running an illegal adoption scheme spanning 3 states. Arizona is the second to hand out a sentence, bringing Peterson to a total of 11 years in prison so far. The former county official bringing dozens of mothers from the Marshall Islands to America, offering up their babies for adoption for tens of thousands of dollars. The sentencing hearing beginning with emotional testimony from those victims claiming that Peterson misrepresented his adoption business by omissions of the truth and creating false documentation leading to pain that will last a lifetime.
I'm afraid to refer to my daughter's heritage as Marshallese because that may color others' opinion of us and our situation and raise the question, was she trafficked in regards to both our daughter and her biological mother?
And I feel responsible for her negative feelings about what happened. And it doesn't matter whether I disagree or prosecutors disagree about what happened. What matters is she felt her adoption is tainted.
And Peterson was sentenced in Arkansas to 6 years, and he was hoping to serve any additional time concurrently, meaning at the same time, but that didn't happen. In Arizona, the judge stating that the offenses committed in Arizona were separate, different. They had different victims, different laws were violated, and the intent and conduct involved were also different. Peterson is also scheduled for sentencing in Utah for that portion of the investigation. Now to the border. Governor Doug Ducey taking a tour yesterday, getting a firsthand look at what he is seeing as a massive rise in the number of migrants coming to the U.S. The governor echoing the message of fellow Republican leaders, blaming the President Biden's immigration policy, saying that there is a perception that the border is now wide open.
The Biden administration can and should correct this perception and work to deter individuals from making this dangerous journey and sending their children to do so.
Recently, President Biden directly told migrants not to come during an exclusive ABC News interview. He and other White House officials, they blamed the Trump administration for the border situation that is currently taking place. Our very own Liliana Soto traveling down to the border for the first time in months. Now she was finally able to talk directly one-on-one with Governor Doug Ducey. Listen.
Our governor was here at the Arizona-Mexico border here in Douglas, Arizona. He led a round table and a tour of our border with different officials, federal officials, and also local and law enforcement. However, we did not see many voices represented in this event. We saw many Republicans, but not a lot of Democrats or independents. They did talk about border security, drug trafficking, and our current immigration system. When it comes to immigration, our governor kept repeating that we have an open border. We challenged those comments because we have been speaking to asylum seekers in Nogales, families who have been expelled just recently this week. And here's his response. But I just spoke to families, asylum seekers families who were expelled under Title 42 just this week. So the border is not open, or it wasn't open for them. So why do you continue saying it's open when it hasn't been, at least not for them?
I'm sharing with you the record number of illegal migrations that are happening in our state. They're happening across an open border. It's an accurate statement.
We also question him on border security when it comes to drugs. Due to the pandemic, Customs and Border Protection has reported an increase on the number of U.S. citizens smuggling drugs through our main gates, the ports of entry.
If the drug cartels are looking to transport their dangerous product across the line, they're using those people, and oftentimes it results in death.
We really got to go. About US citizens.
It's about border security.
We're talking about U.S. citizens. They're coming through our main gates.
Well, listen, wherever we catch a criminal, they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Let's roll. So that's what we're going to do.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
In Douglas, I'm Liliana Soto, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, Liliana, thank you so much. The vaccination site at State Farm Stadium, it will transition to overnight only starting on April 4th. The new hours will be from 5 p.m. until 9 a.m. Arizona's Director of Health Services, Dr. Kara Chris, says that Arizona's heat and the open parking lot setting of the stadium site put too much of a strain on patients, volunteers, and technology. Chris does not anticipate the change will significantly impact the number of people who are receiving the vaccine.
We will do is we will have more appointments per hour, but given the efficiency at State Farm, so it won't reduce capacity significantly.
Now, the Gilbert Chandler Community College location will move to an indoor site in Mesa for the first time, being a Phoenix Municipal Stadium and the U of A pods. They will remain open. Dr. Kara Chris says that the state is looking for indoor alternatives to administer the vaccine in those sites as well. Well, kids helping kids get a good night's sleep, a massive effort taking place at a Valley church where hundreds of teens will be building beds this weekend to donate to foster children all over the state. ABC15 Sonu Wasu with more.
Our mantra at Sleep in Heavenly Peace is no kid sleeps on the floor in our town. And our attitude is if we can do something about it, we're going to do something about that.
Some kid is going to get a good night rest tonight. Something as simple as a bed, something teenager Declan Nichols has never had to worry about.
There we go.
But sadly, a bed is a luxury for so many children all over the country. Children who are not sure where they might be laying their head to sleep from night to night. Joe Genovese with the nonprofit Sleep in Heavenly Peace has dedicated his life to making sure every child has a brand new bed of their own.
Very simple, but strong and safe. And for many kids, it's their first bed ever.
Today, Genovese is supervising teenagers who are part of a youth program with Living Word Bible Church. They're building their first bed that'll be donated to a foster child in Arizona.
This pile of lumber is 50 beds worth of lumber.
All 50 beds have already been claimed by Valley families. Genovese tells us the need is great. He sees it firsthand while visiting homes.
We see sheets on couches. We see air mattresses. We see old mattresses or sometimes no mattresses. We've actually seen children sleeping on a pile of laundry.
The beds they're building here are much more than a piece of furniture. Genovese tells us they can impact a child's well-being.
I'm not a child psychologist, but I've talked to quite a few in the last couple of years, and they tell us that the children will have a healthier attitude. They'll do better in school. A good night's sleep is so vitally important for children.
In the last 3 years, the nonprofit has donated hundreds of beds to children in the valley, but new requests are coming in every day. The church is also in need of items to put on top of these wooden frames, and that's where you can help.
A bed is not complete without a sheet, a bedspread, a pillow, a stuffed animal for the child, mattress cover.
Church leaders are asking for donations of bedding and toys. Make sure it's twin-size bedding. You can drop it off here at Living Word Bible Church at the corner of Val Vista and Brown Road. In Mesa, Sonu Wasu, ABC15, Arizona.
Sonu, thank you. A viral social media post, have you seen this? Revealing the disparities between the men's NCAA basketball tournament and the women's tournament when it comes to facilities, the change that local athletes are now hoping for. And the deadline to file your taxes, it's been pushed back. New this morning, the Let Joe Know team explains why you might want to wait to file if you received unemployment benefits last year.
Thanks for watching ABC15 Arizona, streaming 24/7 on Roku and these streaming devices.
Welcome back, everybody. We're coming up on 6:15 on your Saturday morning. The deadline to file your taxes has been delayed to May 17th. Now, that is good news if you received unemployment pay last year. New federal rules exempt some of that income, but so far, the IRS has not said how to claim that new exemption in the state. They haven't decided what to do either. All new this morning, the Rebound Arizona and Let Joe Know teams breaking down what you should do now.
While unemployment income is still taxable, the new stimulus package called the American Rescue Plan waives taxes on a big chunk of it, up to $10,200 if you qualify. The problem is the waiver came about a month after the tax filing season began, so some Arizonans who received unemployment money already filed their taxes without getting the break. And even now, the most popular tax filing software hasn't included it in calculations. TurboTax says they're working around the clock to make updates, expecting more available just before this story airs. H&R Block says they're awaiting guidance from the IRS on how the unemployment exclusion will be implemented. Right now, the IRS says they're working with software providers and they're going to provide a worksheet for paper filers, but no date has been set. That's at the federal level. The state adds another layer of confusion, not yet allowing that unemployment waiver. The Arizona Department of Revenue says whether Arizona conforms to the American Rescue Plan is now pending the Arizona legislature's decision. Also, they say a decision has not been made on extending Arizona's tax filing deadline to the new federal deadline of May 17th. So if you filed your taxes or haven't filed yet, what do? Many experts say just wait. The IRS is definite on one point. If you've already filed,
don't file an amended return yet. It might be a possibility at some point, but at this point, we're asking everyone to hold off as the IRS reviews this legislation.
IRS agent Brian Watson says guidance should come soon. If you did file, the IRS could create refunds. If you haven't filed, many experts say wait until the IRS decides what to do. Tax filing software catches up, and the state decides if it'll follow the Fed's new changes. Remember, you qualify for that unemployment waiver if your income was less than $150,000, and that amount must include all the unemployment pay you received last year. Go to abc15.com/letjoeknow for more tax filing information. I'm Investigator Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
Well, happy Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. No, don't do a double take. It is Saturday. I'm just filling in for Megan Thompson here this morning, but it is a gorgeous Saturday morning so far. I don't know about you. I mean, I usually wake up pretty early on the weekends anyway, but the birds outside of my house, and maybe you hear the same thing, they serve as a great alarm clock on the weekends because they are so excited in the morning. And, you know, they've got a right to be excited, right? We've got gorgeous weather in store this first official weekend of spring, astronomically speaking, of course. We've got clear skies. The vernal equinox or the spring equinox happening very early this morning. So today, the first almost full day of spring, with our temperatures running a little warmer than this time yesterday. We're about 1 degree milder in Phoenix at Sky Harbor, but we're talking 10 to 15 degrees warmer in spots like Flagstaff, Bullhead City, and Kingman than we were at this time yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty warm day, so we've been slow to cool down. Plus, we do have some high clouds in northern Arizona, so that's making for a little bit of a warmer start this morning. We're above freezing in Flagstaff, believe it or not, 34 degrees the temperature there. It's 50 in Sedona, 66 at Lake Havasu, Phoenix Sky Harbor checking in at 57, and Globe, good morning. You're in the low 50s here this morning. Across the valley, it's a mixed bag of 40s and 50s to start the day, but all in all, you're seeing more 50s than you are 40s, so maybe a sweater as you step outside this morning for that early morning workout or walk or whatever it is that you've got to do, but you probably won't need a heavy coat, and you probably won't be wearing it for very long, because even though we're in the 40s to 50s now, look at this warm-up. It's going to be another quick one. We're talking temperatures in the 70s by 10 a.m., by lunchtime already in the upper 70s, and then we're going to spend the entire afternoon in the 80s with a high of 85 degrees by around 3 to 4 o'clock. We'll stay in the 80s through 6 p.m., then cool back down into the 70s after that. Looking for clear skies across the valley today. 30-year average is 78, so we're still talking temperatures that are above normal with highs reaching the mid-80s across much of the Phoenix metro area. But we're going to cool off tomorrow and we'll be closer to the average for this time of year. We just got to get through this next day or this day in the 80s before that cooler air arrives. 85 for a high here in Phoenix. We'll make it to 55 in Flagstaff, 68 in Sedona. Lake Havasu, you'll top out at 82 and 65 our high today in Sholo. Now today, a breezy to windy day across the state. We've got a storm system that's approaching from the northwest. That's going to bring the cool down. But it's also going to crank up those winds, especially in northern Arizona today. Breezy here in the valley by this afternoon. And then tomorrow we'll keep some breezes around, especially through that eastern half of our state. The strongest winds today will be in northern Arizona, where gusts will be as high as 45 miles an hour. Windy in some areas there. And we've got those winds coming in out of the southwest. For the valley, gusts not as strong, but we're talking gusts near 25 miles an hour. And the issue is with those stronger winds, especially up north, we've got wind advisories in place that will be in place along the Mogollon Rim and in northeast Arizona. Just keep in mind too that fire danger is still there, even though there aren't any fire alerts. These breezes could certainly create some issues for us because it's still pretty dry. 85 for a high today, tomorrow down to 77. Then we will see a slight chance for showers by Tuesday and Wednesday, just about a 10% here in the valley.
Iris, thank you. Well, don't forget today you can cheer on GCU's men's basketball team as they make their very first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. The Lopes, they will face off against number 2 Iowa. Tip-off is at 3:25. Valley athletes, they are reacting to the disparities between the men's NCAA basketball tournament and the women's tournament. If you haven't seen this, you need to come take a look. The social media posts, they have gone viral showing the women's weight training facilities in San Antonio are severely lacking compared to what the men have in Indianapolis. The women have a single stack of weights next to a training table with yoga mats compared to the massive facility that the men have with free weights, dumbbells, and squat racks. The Arizona women's coach chiming in, the Wildcats, they are the number 3 seed in the tournament. She says that the inequalities, they're nothing new, and she hopes that this will put more of a focus on women's sports as a whole.
We don't follow women's basketball. We don't support it. We don't push the WNBA. So that's the first problem. And I think the other thing is, it comes back to money. Grow our game. You continue to grow our game, then more money, more investment.
The NCAA says that it is working to improve the equipment that is available. They are also addressing other issues like limited food options and other amenities. Well, getting kids off of screens and back into the classroom this morning, we are breaking down the CDC's new guidelines to keep students safe. Plus, Taking small steps to keep our planet beautiful, the program hoping to make students more mindful about wasting water. Water woes caused by household leaks. It can waste nearly 1 trillion gallons of water each and every year, but an innovative school curriculum is now teaching students about conserving water and other utilities. Look.
This is how the meter will look like.
The students in this class are on the hunt for drips, drops, and water wastage.
We all use these utilities, water, electricity, but not a lot of people have an understanding about how much of these different resources that we use.
The Meter Hero curriculum teaches students how to read their utility meters and collect data about their electricity, gas, and water consumption each day.
They are going to take pictures periodically and see, so their usage, what they can do about it.
It's the plotting of that data over the course of the year that will help them uncover trends that can shape their behavior to be more conservation conscious.
I also think that helps me be more aware and conscious, not to leave the sink running while just going to run and do something.
Studying the meter can also flag systemic problems. The US EPA estimates that the average household's leaks account for 10,000 gallons of wasted water each year, and 10% of leaks waste 90 gallons or more per house a day.
When I hear stories about the family that discovered a leak and then get those utility payments adjusted because they were able to find and fix the leak in their home.
14-year-old Victoria Jewell is studying whether a more efficient dishwasher could save water by eliminating her family's current need to pre-rinse.
I'm still getting baseline data right now before I start to change up how I wash my dishes. So I'm planning to kind of experiment with that later on in the project.
12-year-old Layla is tracking showering lengths and temperatures in her Milwaukee home.
So as a way to save more water is cutting down on our shower times or trying to take slightly cooler showers.
Otero says the Meter Hero project is something anyone can do all on their own.
That's what scientists do. Those heroes that we admire, they do all of that on a little bit larger scale. So we can all be our own science heroes right in our homes.
Still going 1 minute. The year-long project, say educators, give these students a real-world lesson in conservation and the foundation to be better stewards of our planet.
And if we're able to lower how much water, electricity, or gas we use every year, then we can make very big impacts on the planet.
I'm Usher Qureshi reporting.
Well, coming up, the community college that is canceling classes after a possible cyber attack. Plus, the new county now planning to offer the COVID vaccine to anyone 18 and older.